Good afternoon, everyone. Is that mic working? Okay. Welcome to the INET Denver. Thanks for coming out and braving the April snows here. We appreciate it. So first, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Colorado chapter of the Internet Society and who we are and who's behind this event here. So our mission is to seek to harness the great resources in this region in order to perpetuate the open evolution of the internet for the advancement of human knowledge and communication here in Colorado and around the world. We do that through a number of activities. One of them is putting on events like this. So we welcome you here and we appreciate your attendance. The Internet Society in general kind of lives at the intersection of technology, education, and policy. Right? So in this Venn diagram, right, where they overlap is where the Internet Society plays its biggest role. And of course, Colorado ISOC is the local epicenter for that focus. In particular, we're focused within those areas. Within education, we want to become a pool of experts for local resources, right? So whether it's politicians or policymakers in other capacities or the media or educational events around the state, the members of the Colorado Internet Society should be the go-to resource for internet expertise. And then also educating ourselves, right? As members of the Internet Society, we want to put on events and host events and also produce materials where we can educate ourselves from it to keep up to date on all of the, again, technology and policy matters that are going on around the internet. Within policy, we want to focus on technical internet governance. So again, so far, the majority of the members of the Colorado chapter of the Internet Society are engineers and architects. And so bringing that technical focus and that technical mindset into policy matters is another thing that we try to do to kind of bridge that gap. As part of that, we're an at-large structure within ICANN and participate in several other bodies as the chapter itself to bring that technical expertise into the policymaking world of internet governance. And then, of course, within technology, one of our biggest focuses is on developing access. So we've worked on a couple of small projects to look at alternative access and things like dark nets and alternets to ensure that, in the case of a natural disaster or censorship of a government actor, there are ways around that and ways to keep the internet moving and keep the internet free. With that, jumping into today's agenda, where we're focusing on, obviously, IPv4 exhaustion, coupled again with the North American IPv6 Summit that's going on tomorrow and Friday. We're taking a kind of a look more at the IPv4 side of things and what it looks like to get out of IPv4, what you have to do to sustain IPv4 until you can get out of it, and what that transition looks like. So with that in mind, we're starting off with a recorded talk from Jeff Houston on the state of IPv6, kind of why we're here today, what we're talking about, what is this IPv4 exhaustion thing, and kind of getting us kicked off on some backstory there. And then, of course, since we're here in the ARIN region, ARIN is the American Registry for Internet Numbers, and they're the regional internet registry for most of North America and the Caribbean, all the English-speaking parts. So we're going to have a report from ARIN on IPv4 exhaustion within this region. Then we're going to dive into a workshop on address policy itself. So we're going to look at how to get address resources, right? How do you get IPv4 resources? How do you get IPv6 resources? What does that process look like? Hopefully answer some of your questions as well on those fronts. And then also look at ARIN policy and how to change it, right? The ARIN policy process is open and bottom up, so anyone can come in if you have a problem with the policy. If there's addresses that you absolutely need and can't get for some reason, there's a way to change policy and actually then perhaps get those addresses or whatever the requirement may be. So we're going to talk about that as well. Then we'll take a short break and come back with a panel discussion of the transfer market. So as many of you may be aware, IPv4 address resources are now able to be transferred from one holder to another. And we're going to look at what that process is, how that works today, how that may need to change in the future, and what it actually means for your business to either buy or sell addresses, what you can do to transfer addresses and why you might want to, where the pricing is, how the market looks going forward. Immediately following that, we're going to look at the total cost of ownership of IPv6. So looking at what does it cost to deploy carrier-grade NAT, what does it cost to deploy IPv6, what does it cost to turn off IPv4, and how that all plays into your business and your plans going forward. And then finally, we're going to wrap up just looking at the Internet Society itself, the initiatives and how to get involved in the Internet Society as a global organization. With that, I'm going